So I don't know if anybody else has ever done this before. Is like when you have like two separate beverages next to one another and like you forget which one it is. I have apple cider over here with a mint leaf in it, for a little bit of fall fresh, crisp taste. And then I got coffee over here, you know what I'm saying? And I forgot which one was which, and I just took a sip of my apple cider and it done like shocked my taste buds a little bit. So like I'm a little thrown off to like what that was. And then like I see the coffee over here, but then as I'm sitting there looking at it, it doesn't look like I put cream in it. I have this like palm test. Some people say I'm light skinned. I don't really know what that means. I have this palm test of how much cream I put in my coffee. It can't be like too light. It can't be lighter than this. It's gotta be somewhere like in between this, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if it's really working like that, so I might have to do that when the intro drops. But anyway, welcome everybody. I am excited. I am elated. I am cold. It's cold out here in Baltimore today. I'm super excited to get back into this, to have my guest this afternoon for him, I guess, evening for the rest of us on the East Coast. But before we get into all that, let me drop the intro real quick.
They threw my ancestors in the ocean. Now we became the new wave, and we're about to drown this system. Every time I go in, every time I go in, every time I go in, boy, I'm jamming. Every time I go in, every time I go in, every time I go in, boy, I'm jamming. I'm a kid, I'm a kid, I'm a kid, man. I'm jamming. I'm a kid, I'm a kid, I'm a kid, man. I'm jamming.
Welcome everybody to the Kid Casper podcast. I'm your gracious, beautiful, blessed, beloved, and black host, the kid that they call Casper. The KID in Kid Casper stands for that king of development. I'm that menace with the melanin. Reject me as I am, as long as he is still relevant. If this is your first time tuning in today and engaging me in all my nerdiness and all of my melanated ways, hello, I am that quirky black kid that they call Casper. I am a Christian raptivist. Yes, rapper slash activist. Like I love Jesus. But I'm super far from a pacifist, you know what I'm saying? And today, my guest, I would like to say, if you want to say guest, somebody that is engaging me in this space today is somebody I've been a fan of for a while now. Somebody that, at one point I felt like I might have been annoying this individual to some degree. Try to get him in here today. We were able to set a day, pick a time. But life happens, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing we can really do with that. It's all in the Lord's timing. He owns the outcome at the end of the day. So this is good. I'm happy it happened this Wednesday. It could have happened no Wednesday. It could have happened no time at all. But we're here today, and I'm just excited for this opportunity to be able to do this. This man he's a father. He calls himself an MC. He's a singer. Not saying that he is not worthy of the title MC. He's an MC, he's a singer, he's a TED talker. I guess that's a thing. He's a TED talker, you know what I'm saying? He's an activist. He's just a beautiful human being, you know what I'm saying? Inside and out. He's got the most amazing locks I've ever seen. Everybody, my guest this evening is no other than the magnificent, the melanated roycelovett.
What's up? What's up? Blessings and favor. What's up?
Nothing much, man. So first off, I would want to, I said thank you behind the scenes, but I just wanted to, say thank you for accepting my invitation and joining the space with me. I know we've been trying to lock this in for a while, so I'm just excited. Appreciate you coming through today, dog.
100%, man. I'm glad we were able to lock it in. Life has been crazy and busy and a blessing, and I'm actually in a guitar amp sound booth, if you guys are wondering, because I'm in Nashville at the moment working on some music that I'm really excited about with some friends and some family. So we'll see what happens in the coming year. Thanks, brother.
Of course. So let's just kind of get into it, man. So one of the things that I wanted to bring you on to is kind of get to know you a little bit, obviously, and have a dialogue with you, but also get an idea of like what you're doing. So, you know, if you can give me like an elevator's pitch to who RoyceLovett is, could you do that for me today, sir? Please.
Who RoyceLovett is, elevator pitch. I definitely am going to say probably the most generic things. I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a believer in redemption through Yeshua. I'm a believer of loving and telling stories, and I love to do that through music. I love to do that through art. I feel like that's the way we share humanity, and I think that's who I am. In a nutshell, elevator pitch. I hope that worked.
No, I realized I was muted for a second. No, that works, man. Another thing that I would like to know, before we kind of dive in, and this is where I ask like my like, first off, have you ever engaged or like seen my interviews before by chance? Like, do you have any idea what you have gotten yourself into?
When we talked,
Okay.
and we set the date, I watched one interview and then I skipped through a few and was like, let me kind of see what I'm setting myself up for. And so I'm excited to see what happens. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So this will kind of let me know like how much cooler or not cooler you are than me. So we'll see how this goes. So my first super intense question on the Kid Casper podcast is, if you had to pick a favorite Disney princess, my brother Black Man, what would your favorite Disney princess be this evening, sir?
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I have to do this. I have to work it out in my head. So I immediately have always had a crush on Jasmine from Aladdin. But I think I would, as a favorite, I think I would say Pocahontas. I think I would say that's my favorite one. That's a loaded question. But yes.
Yeah, I do that to everybody. There's just to kind of let them settle in. Any expectations you might have had about how this conversation is going to go clearly are broken at this point. So this is working out in my favor. Absolutely. And my next super intense question on the Kid Casper podcast is, once again, this will let me know how much cooler you are than me. If you had to pick a starting 6 Pokemon set, you know what I'm saying? You might have an answer for this depending on how saved you were your whole life. Like if your parents or grandparents were anything like mine, where like, I don't know, Pokemon is demonic, you may not have an answer. But if you could pick 6 Pokemon for me this evening, sir, what would that be?
Man, so I know Pokemon because I didn't play it when I was younger, mostly because, you know, just Christian culture in the South, they was like, nah, they ain't having that. But I sold the cards. So as far as like knowing names, I'm gonna say I only know these names because these are names that my children have said out loud. So I think I would pick Charmander, Pikachu, uh, what's the? See, this is how lost I am because I was about to say Kirby, and I know Kirby ain't no
It's a little off,
Pokemon character.
just a tad bit.
It's off. It's the I gotta sing a song so I can get it.
Jigglypuff, shorty with the microphone. Is that who you trying to? Okay.
Yes, Jigglypuff, and
gotcha.
And then you got one that's like a lion something, lion roar, or like I don't know. And then you got one that looked like a worm.
Gotcha.
I forget it, but anyway, that's all I got.
Gotcha. This is going horrible, by the way. Just wanted to let you know that. So this all works out, but you know, on the bright side, you got through it. That's how you pass. If I was just bringing you around my nerdy homies, you would have failed, but it's okay. You're clearly cooler than me,
Yeah,
so
I
that
get
all
it.
works out.
I get it.
So anyway, my brother, you know what I'm saying. First off, this is already going pretty well, in my opinion. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of who Royce Lovett is, and you gave us like an elevator's pitch, but I'm ready to just kind of dive into like some things I wanted to ask you. So you got a project coming out, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of this week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of
Friday,
like
a live project.
yeah. So talk to me a little bit about it, because I would think, especially, I would say especially with like 2020 with the pandemic, the idea of like concerts has like drastically changed. Like even when we see with like NPR's Tiny Desk, doing it from the comfort of your own home seems to be the new wave. What made you want to do a live project, and what is the significance of it to you, sir?
Well, I think in my journey as a musician, an artist, a creative, I've always struggled with finding a producer that could uh, elevate my sound and find that sound. A lot of times, as you're on your journey, you you use what you have, you use the tools that you have. So I write my songs on guitar, but then, in my younger years, the only producers that were around were like hip hop heads. And I loved that, but I needed like a different element. I needed pieces of hip hop added to what I was trying to make. And so for a long time in my career, trying to put an actual project together felt very confusing for the listener, because a lot of folks would be like, "Yo, when I see you live, I love it. When I get the record, it's it's it it doesn't sound like the same energy." So I've always wanted to do a live project. So I'm excited about this. Um, the significance to the pandemic is I knew two things in my life was happening. Um, I wanted to do live shows. I knew streaming live on certain budgets sounds bad. And so the idea was, yo, let's do a pre-recorded live show and present it as if it's live, let it live on YouTube and all the platforms. Um, and then at some point, let's take the audio and let's make an album. And so it actually became very fruitful. I feel like this whole project for me, it gave me tons of content. It gave me lots of video that I could use, and then it also gave my listeners the thing that they are missing during the pandemic. And I don't even want to say listeners, because like I feel like this point, folks that are still buying in, like they're listeners, but folks that have been rocking with me like 100%, like supporters, like my supporters and my family, like they really wanted to everybody's at home and everybody's trying to figure life out. So I thought it was a blessing to do that. On top of that, it got picked up by an organization called So Far, and they used it during Black History Month and like during the protests, because a lot of the record has a lot to do with the humanity at the state it's in, and the echoing the pain and the hurt and the triumph and the lineage and success of this thing we called Black American culture, that's
Mm.
still finding its name, that's still finding its voice, but carries so much roots with it. So um, I think those are the benefits, and I'm pretty excited about the record. So I'm excited for everybody to hear it in its extent. Like it's only a 5 songs, but I think it's done beautifully. Got to play with some amazing folks, some amazing friends that I can't wait to get back in the studio with.
Gotcha. So one thing I wanted to ask, so for myself as an artist as well, I don't know how you feel about this. I've always enjoyed doing like performing more than recording. Like I hate doing this. Like even being in front of a microphone like this. Hate is a strong word, but I said it. It's just I don't know what it is. I feel like you're able to. It's hard to connect with the. I would say this. Like I think it's more of like the connecting with the person in front of you, opposed to the potential person that will be picking up your sound sonically. Can you kind of relate to that? Like, what if you had to prefer? Like, what would you rather do? Would you rather perform, or would you rather record? And if so, like, why is that? Because people think like there isn't a preference between the two, but do you have one, sir?
Oh, 100%. I think the preference is to be in front of warm bodies. Why? Because it feels so much more purposeful, so much more connecting, especially when there's a lot of intentionality put into the set, put into the experience. Now, I do love recording because then you know, there's all the tangible reasons why, like just opening to a broader audience, being able to live online, being able to live in somebody's car. And that's amazing. It really is. But the live performance is special. It's special.
And I think like what it also is, and you said it without saying it. It's that being able to connect with your fellow brothers and sisters and siblings out here. Something that we weren't really not necessarily able to have with this pandemic as far as community goes. So it's good that, you know, we're not only able to give them something that kind of gives them that feel, but able to have that at the same time. One thing I wanted 100%. To ask you about this project, because I've noticed like the aesthetic that you've been using through social media, and then I'm also seeing like the imaging in which that you've used. I've definitely got that sense of speaking about like our plight as a people when we're talking about, you know, American descendants of slaves, as far as like our plight, our struggle, our liberation, our fight, and also our triumph. The imaging and the silhouettes that I've seen with like every song title, what made you want to come up with that and use imaging like that? And I guess like I'm curious to like what went into your brain while engaging this project.
Yo, so real quick, my computer light went out, but I'm gonna answer the question. Is that cool?
That's cool. You look like an unlockable character on a video game, but it's all right. You got this. You got this, dog.
I'm gonna see if I back up a little bit. We work in a sound studio, not a video studio. I think
got it. You got it, cool.
Dog. So really just a lot of when you listen to the first record, Up for Love, you hear a lot of voices. And I think what I've been realizing over, you know, the past like 5 years, because I'm just now waking up, and I'm continuing to wake up to a lot of things, and that's a whole another conversation. But I think I've been hearing and seeing and becoming grateful and thankful for all the giants that shoulders I stand on, for all the voices that empower my voice, for all the work and the lives and the blood and the sweat and the tears and the prayers and the confusion and the journey that has taken me to where I am. And I think I wanted to show that in this music, in this body of work. And so we tried our best, and I so love what we came out with. We tried our best to show that flight, to show that elevation, of how you see me rising. You know, one person could look at that and think he looks like he's grieving. He looks like he's hurt. He looks like he's asleep. He looks like he's meditating. Maybe he looks like he's joyful and he's rising. Some people can look at those silhouettes and those pictures on my body and think he's thinking about his ancestors. And some people can think he's in protest. Some people can think he's being joyful. I think there's so many things that we're going to think when we see it from our perspective. And I think that was the goal. Lately in my life, what has been the champion factor of these voices is the only way I become grateful is when I become self-aware. And once I become self-aware, I'm able to step into gratitude, and I'm able to step into generosity, and I'm able to step into love, and that is joyful. So therefore joy becomes my protest. So I tell people every day, like, I'm in protest every day, but it's not out of anger, but it's out of joy.
Gotcha.
So
I feel that. I think I think for a lot of us when we're talking about American descendants of slaves, 2020 just I don't think any one of us, even those that aren't, I won't say that they're not woke, they're just like kind of narcoleptic to like what's happening to people that look like us. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Pray for Kanye. I don't know what it is, but we'll pray for him. You know what I'm saying? But like I recognize that like not one of us is the same after that. Did you find yourself? We spoke a little bit of like the protests that were taking place, and I followed very closely to your social media at this time, and you spoke on that you were, I guess, like asleep to this. For my own personal testimony, I wasn't saved. I didn't get saved till I was 19, but I found myself, in like these like evangelical spaces when it came to church, where it's like it's not normal to have your blackness nurtured. You know what I'm saying? More so muzzled. Did you experience anything like that might have contributed to this, as you said, being asleep? Or better yet, like what did you mean by, like, I guess like you're just now waking up to like, I guess like things that are happening, or like the impact of that, if that makes sense?
Matt, to answer the question, like, briefly, because I feel like this is a topic. Like, I feel like this is a topic. To answer it briefly, I would say a few things. One, um, a form of protection and nurturing from my elders. Um, my mother, I'll use her as an example really quickly. She's the eldest of 12 children, and um, she remembers that after things got pretty rough, her parents had moved to Alabama, and after things got pretty rough, after one incident of the KKK actually dragging all of them off of a bus, burning crosses, beating the bus driver to death, that her dad, my grandfather Walter Freeman, they moved back to Florida, and my mother said that after that, she it was almost like she didn't really see the racism until she got older, because when they had to eat at a back door of a restaurant, her mother would say, "Oh, we have too many kids, make it a game." And so she was a part of that camouflage so kids can be kids, if that made sense. Um, talking to my grandmother, saying that she had to find a way to teach her children how to love people. And so I think there is trauma mixed in with love and just wondering how to overcome from, I think this is a lot of people's stories, from our parents, that a lot of times things aren't talked about because they're not sure how to talk about them. They might be afraid of talking about them. Maybe they're still figuring it out. But either way, I think right now we see generations at a place where we can cut open some wounds and realize that trauma, we need to figure out how to clean it properly. And I feel like I'm at that point in my life where possibly my parents couldn't cut open a wound and make sure it was cleaned properly. They just had to make, just hope it healed and didn't get infected. Does that make sense?
No, I'm picking up what you're putting down for sure.
I think that's one thing. The other thing is I think that like Christianity outside of the Black church, and that's a whole nother topic. I hope people go, do some reading and some research on what the Black church was in the communities. Christianity outside of the Black church, after the late 50s, 60s into the 70s and on, at this movement of mega churches and evangelicalism. I think evangelicalism. I think that I think checking your culture at the door became a unsaid rule, and I think there's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, so those two things I think actually probably sheltered me, hindered some growth, and probably protected my heart at the same time, if that makes sense.
No,
I'll tell another quick story. I remember my mom used to always tell me like why I couldn't do certain things. No, I'll take that back. I remember her telling me that I can't do certain things and never really telling me why. And it was up until one day where I had this experience of like, oh, I'm Black and that's different. Like knowing that you're Black is one thing, but because you see your skin color, but then having a wake up moment in in kindergarten where you're like, oh, I'm the Black kid and that's why this happened. And oh, that's what mom has been saying when she says, when you say this, this means this. When you do this, this means this. Make sure you're the most respectful in class. You cannot have long hair because if you mess up a little, you'll be the hoodlum, not the one who made a mistake.
Right.
And I think as I got older, then I started to understand things that my mother and my father were trying to teach me. So like I said, I feel like that's to unpack it a little bit. I'm long-winded too, so forgive me. I think that's what I meant when I said like I'm just starting to wake up. Actually, what started to shake me and break me was the murder of Alton Sterling in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I started wondering, I ended up writing a song before that started to unpack in my life called Writing on the Wall. And I started learning so much, man, and it was encouraging. It was a blessing. I debunked a lot of lies that I told myself. I became a reader. I started learning, growing, dealing with trauma and issues and speaking on it and being happy to talk about it. And I'm still on that journey. I'm still in that journey for legacy and identity and all those things, and not being afraid to ask those questions. So I'm still learning and growing, and I'm happy to have my eyes open, so I can see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And I think like to some degree we all had to, when navigating in these different spaces, especially predominantly white spaces, is that like we've had to like make a game or make a joke and make light of something. It's a coping mechanism that I think, like as you said, the I always tell people the heart of a man or a woman, you know what I'm saying, the heart of a man or a woman is up here, not in here. So we have, the brain itself does these things to protect the host from experiencing certain traumatic experiences that will shape and mold them into what possibly is to their detriment. And I feel like in a lot of ways that like us as a people, like on the outside it looks like we're kind of allowing bigotry to be inhabited with us, but people don't understand like as early as like you said kindergarten, you know what I'm saying, had that shaped your heart as far as like hatred or something, instead of understanding to at least what things are for the way that they are, could have done something to your detriment. So I definitely understand that. And also I think we're all kind of learning when it comes to whiteness, like not knowing how whiteness works is exactly how whiteness works. So it's one of those like, oh man, like there's so much more to this that I thought there was, and there's another layer and another layer. So yeah, man, I feel that. The one thing that I'm sitting over here like looking at like some of these images and these silhouettes that you came up with, and I think like the beautiful thing about like the imaging you used, for like for instance, Better, you see like Harriet Tubman, you see Billie Holiday, you see Malcolm X. For Keep It Moving, you see Jackie, you see Muhammad Ali. For Up for Love, you see Rosa Parks, you see MLK, you see Nelson Mandela. And I think it's the black experience and how we impact people in our lives, and our experience is multifaceted. You know, you could be Baldwin or Basquiat, you could be Martin or Malcolm, you could be Rosa or Billie Holiday, but it still doesn't define what it means as far as like the impact we've been able to have despite chattel slavery, and being brought here in 1619. And I love that you were able to like kind of pull all of that when we're talking about like our ancestors, and show like, and I'm hopefully I'm not like assuming, but like to show that like you have all these black faces like on your body, and to say like all of them make me, you know what I'm saying, like not one of them is removed to who Royce is. I thought that was beautiful, if that's what you were trying to do, if I wasn't missing the
No,
mark.
100%. It all makes me. It all makes me. I think it's beautiful too, like for believers out there who's listening, even that idea of like when you go through like the genealogy of our Messiah, um, and you think about David and Bathsheba, like being in his genealogy, and then you think about that story, how that happened, you know, I think that's wild to say good news comes from this. Um, and when I think about like hurts and pains or traumas, victories, uh, heroes that I can touch and that I can't touch, they all make me, you know. And I think that's a beautiful thing. There's a word, and I might be enunciating it a little wrong, pronouncing it a little wrong. It's called Ubuntu, and it means I am because you are. I believe uh, Swahili speaking use that as a term of that. Ooh, like I'm trying to say it the way I learned it. Like it's not, very literal, but it means that because you are, I am, and I love that, and I think that's what I think that's something that we all got to learn in order to start growing and become more interested in one another. Um, I think the reason why we're not loving each other is because we're not interested in one another. Um, I'm a plant dad, and so my plants fail, they die if I don't become interested in them and want to learn how to take care of them and nurture them. And some need the different water, different light, different soil. Some like coffee in the soil, some like orange peels in the soil. Some I think that's the key. And so no, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm trying to raise my boys in a way where they see and appreciate all parts. I thought it was funny one day during Black History Month. Um, uh, an older lady um asked my sons like, "Hey, do you have a hero? Do you have a hero? You learning about any heroes? Do you have any heroes?" And my 10-year-old says, "Yeah, right now, I really think Rosa Parks is a big hero to me. And then my 5-year-old at the time, he's 6 now, the most bubbly, joyful, happy little boy. He says, yeah, Nat Turner. And part of me was like, oh, I hope this lady take this the right way. But I loved it. I loved because all of it makes sense. And there's things that we're not talking about, that we're not told. There's images that are painted that I remember at one point in my life that I was told to look at Nat, you know, look at him on like at a downward angle.
Right.
And no, I hold that as hope, and that to me, like that is a definition of hope. When we actually break down and look at what slavery was, because it wasn't indentured servitude. It was acts of war. It was trauma and pain, and it was terrible. And I hope people go do research and look at it. Like when I remember actually, it was during the season of it was during the I was just reading about Jesus when during that same time where they were celebrating Hanukkah, and the Pharisees and some Pharisaical council, they wanted to like tear their clothes, and they wanted to stone Jesus right there on Solomon's porch. And Jesus was saying, hey, I'm the light of the world, and you are too. And please, guys, if you're listening, it's a beautiful story to go read. And I remember thinking about the story of Hanukkah and the Maccabees and things like that. And I remember just kind of breaking in tears because I felt like the Spirit of God was speaking to me and saying, like, this was Nat Turner. Like, this is hope. This is wanting to see anew. This is a fight for love and peace and joy and life and nourishment. And I think that was also right around the time where I was just learning so much. Grateful and wanting to share my story and to learn more about stories. Oh man, there's so much I want to say about just like the growth I've been doing since I've been, just waking up, and the gratitude that has filled my heart, and just changed me as as a person. So anyway, I can go on and on, but I won't.
All good. One thing I wanted to kind of like respond to when you were saying like people to be interested in other people. One thing I've learned, especially since stepping into like another layer of my calling when we're talking about activism, is you're only going to invest in people that you see worth in. At the same time, it's hard to see your worth in people if you don't invest in them. So it's like I've noticed that for myself, where it's like if I want to impact people, I have to invest, whether it's time, whether it's energy, prayer. You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised how many people say, I'll pray for you, but that it goes as far as the statement. You know what I'm saying? So I think for us to be able to be interested in one another, there has to be worth. You have to see worth in one another. And if you're not willing to invest, you were not really willing to see the worth of this person. And it's that, like I said, we can go layers and layers on that, but that's what I've come to learn in this walk. But yeah, Nat Turner, that is wow. That I wish I was there to see that. I wish I was there to see that. Oh my gosh, that's something out of a movie, dog. That is hilarious. So I know you got to get out of here. So let me hit you with a couple of quick hitters real quick. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So, if you could remove the last like month in our Earth's history, the Earth is ghetto right now. If you could remove the last month in our Earth's history, if you had to pick between like sonically, music wise, between these two individuals, Pharrell or Kanye, who you rocking with?
Man, the hip hop head in me says Nas, because you said Nas or Pharrell?
I said
Which
Pharrell
one?
or Kanye. I don't know where Nas came from, but like that works
Where
out
did
too.
I 100% heard Nas.
You was
I don't
bumping,
know why.
you was
100%
bumping
heard
King's
Nas.
disease before you got here. That's what happened. Like, that's what it was.
Oh man, you said Pharrell. You did say Pharrell. If I had to, man, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say Kanye. I love my brother. There's a lot to unpack and discover there, but I'm gonna say Kanye. Like, there's something about the art that he creates and what he does for the culture, the conversations he even starts for the dinner table.
Oh yeah, my God! Like,
yeah, like there's something about like what Kanye does for the culture that I gotta say Kanye.
Gotcha. All right. If you had to pick between, this might get you in trouble, but that's fine. We'll see how this goes. If you had to pick between Missy Elliott or Janet Jackson, who you rocking with?
Oh man, I think I got it. Okay, so here's a real quick thing. Like, I feel like if I pick Missy, I don't know if Missy would be here without Janet. Does that make sense?
I do, but I also feel like a lot of, I think of like, I just know like Timbaland wouldn't exist, Sierra wouldn't exist, Jasmine Sullivan wouldn't exist.
Did you listen to Jasmine Sullivan's?
But that's Missy though. Like, Missy helped bring like a whole wave. Like, there's a lot of sons of Missy out here, so that's why I'm like,
I'm gonna go with Missy.
Okay, all right.
I'm definitely gonna go with Missy, because that's so many feelings come up there, and all those names.
Yeah.
But real quick, did you watch the Jasmine Sullivan national anthem?
I did not. What am I missing? Is it fire? Is it?
Please go bless yourself.
Go bless myself.
It is the most gorgeous. Please go bless yourself.
So like, compared to like Fergie, it's like Soul Plane meets like a Denzel movie. Like, what?
Please go bless yourself, bro. Like, I don't think there's a note she didn't hit. Like God's gift.
Gotcha.
God's gift.
All right, I got you. Go to snacks real quick. Pringles or Doritos?
Can I say neither?
I mean, I thought you loved Jesus, but like, sure, that's fine. I mean, like, that works too.
If I have to pick, it's Doritos.
Okay, cool. I prefer Pringles because I like promises to be fulfilled, not empty promises. And like, a bag of Doritos got air all up and through them things. My gosh.
Okay.
This one, Saturday morning cartoons. This is a good one. Saturday morning cartoons or art.
When you say art, you mean like what I get
music
to do for
I'm talking, because I was that weirdo that used to make music. I used to draw, all these things. I was not a typical kid, but like, this will kind of give me a radar of like who we rocking with. So Saturday morning cartoons or art as a kid.
Okay, let me get a little clarity on the question, please.
Okay, so if you like,
are you asking
it's
what
Saturday
will I choose
morning
to do on Saturday morning?
Yeah, so if you had to like pick the dichotomy of where you more so fell in line with, like, it's Saturday, there's no school, the beginning of the day is yours. What's the first thing you would do? Saturday morning cartoons, or are you engaged in some type of art form? Like, what we doing?
Oh, bowl of cereal and cartoons.
Gotcha.
A bowl of cereal and cartoons, bro. I gotta decompress. I gotta have a chance to be amused. I gotta have a chance to not think.
Okay.
So I can create later.
Gotcha. So like you was like that Static Shock type of kid, like on Saturday mornings. You was sitting there like, oh, this man look like me. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna watch that?
Yo.
Yes.
Well, possibly if it was, because when I was coming up, we had Able for a minute. We ain't had cable, so it could have, like, to be real with you, it could have been like Dragon Tales or Arthur. And
Hey man, Arthur was fire, bro. I don't care what nobody says. I don't know how he put
Arthur. Yeah.
I don't know how he put headphones on because his ears was up here. But Arthur used to be fire. My goodness.
Yo, it was Arthur for me in the morning, right after school. Bowl of cereal. I just had to like let all the stress and the worry go before whatever next happened.
Gotcha. And I got two more questions. First thing you think of when you wake up in the morning, the last thing you think of before you go to bed?
My wife.
Okay. For both answers?
And that one, I wasn't trying to win no points. That was real.
Gotcha. All right. And my last and final question is, if you had to see a guest on the Kid Casper podcast, who would it be? But your answers gotta be somebody you could basically help get on here, essentially. Who you got for me, dog?
Oh man, it's my first. I love hearing interviews from Cody Chestnut. If you guys do not know the music of Cody Chestnut, please go check him out. But I don't know if I can help get him on here.
That was honest.
Man, I feel like you know what? I'm gonna do this. I got a good friend. I got a homie. Amazing all around guy. His name is So Chill. I can help get him on here. His name is So Chill. He's a writer, producer, amazing cat. Has a lot to give to the planet. I would like to see him on here. Yeah.
I got you. All right, brother Royce. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on here. If you have anything, you have a project coming out soon. If you have anything that you would like for us to, like, kind of, I would say, be aware of or be on the lookout for, projects. I don't know. Are we being casted for Static Shock? I don't know. The locks is looking luxurious. You know what I'm saying? I gotta ask. You know what I'm saying? A couple people ask what your skincare routine is, but I won't put you on blast about that. But if there's anything you would want to let the people know before you departed from us this evening, the screen is yours, dog.
Yo, man. I have a project coming out Friday. I would love for you guys to treat it how you would a fire restaurant you just went to. Now, if you don't like it, don't share it. But if you like the food, tell somebody how to get to it. Tell them what street to go down. Tell them, like, meet them at the spot. You know what I mean? Treat it like some good cooking, a nice restaurant, and treat your family and your friends to some good food. I would love that 100%.
Gotcha. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in this evening. Brother Royce, this was awesome, man. Everybody, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're being safe. If anybody's watching this while driving, or if you're watching this on playback, please, be careful and wear your mask, because this pandemic is not over. It's not even Corona anymore. It's like monkeypox. It's Ebola. It's H1N1. It's just people not covering their mouth and using deodorant. Oh, I'm sorry. I threw shade at night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Always remember, you are beautiful, blessed, and beloved. Raisins still don't go on potato salad. Question, Brother Royce, would you ever put mayonnaise on peas by chance?
Who does that?
I'll answer that question after we get off air. But, like, would you ever put mayonnaise on peas by chance?
No.
How about avocados?
No.
How about avocados, condensed milk with crushed ice? We rocking with that, black man? Yes? No?
Avocados, condensed milk, crushed ice
Yes. Like,
in a smoothie
no. No, like with a spoon.
on a spoon.
Like, you know, like eating it with a
I
spoon.
like avocados
Okay.
on toast.
Okay.
I like condensed milk
Okay.
and 2 shots of espresso.
Okay.
And I like ice in my drinks, not together.
Raisins do not go in potato salad, and Jesus wasn't white. So do me a favor, everybody. Have a good night. You heard me.